and welcome back to the Big D with me, Ateh and Buz, and we have a very special guest with us, JoWood. I'm slightly obsessed with Joe. We met during another podcast, the Anti Pills podcast, and we got on like a house on fire. Thank you so much for coming on. JoWood, you are iconic. You are a beauty entrepreneur. You were one of the first people who put organic on the map, and you understood the power and importance of clean living and organic, and with your beauty brand, you also are basically one of the coolest people I've ever met.
And about to publish your first novel. Yeah. I'm very excited about that, actually. I've done 3 other books, but this is a novel, and I really enjoyed writing it. It's about a woman called Flo. She goes through a divorce.
I mean, it's the perfect segue into why you're here. And is Flo, obviously, it's novel, but
It's you, girl.
I was inspired to write it from going out on a date and somebody talking about how they split up with their wife. And I couldn't get it out of my mind. Of course, when you write, you need to know about the situation.
Yeah.
You need to have some experience of it. So I suppose, because I know how it felt, it's in the book.
They always say, put your broken heart into art, and that is the best.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it, and it's the best revenge is to be fabulous. But you know what? We have all had broken hearts from divorce.
Yeah.
You have had a rather spectacular one.
maybe a lot of people might say, what was it like being married to a Rolling Stone? What we want to know is, what was it like divorcing one?
It was hard, actually. I mean, I don't often think about it, but now it seems so long ago that it's easy to talk about.
Yeah.
It was hard because I wasn't able to talk to him. He didn't want to talk to me.
That's really hard.
And he just had the lawyers. I was with him over 30 years. It was hard because every newspaper was talking about it because he ran off with a 19-year-old. And, after spending all that time being with him, to not have him there, and he was gone.
Yeah.
Without a thought.
Because this is like your best friend. This is the father of your children. This is your ride or die. And Jo is a good girl. You are a good girl. Do you know what I mean?
A really good girl.
You're a good girl. We are all good girls. We're the ride or dies. We're the golden retrievers. We're like, it's all about you. And to suddenly have that gone, that feels had been hard.
I had never done anything on my own.
Yeah.
Apart from when I had that few years, like at 16, when I was a model. And then a year when I was 21 to 22. And then I met Ronnie, and I was with my friend Sue, and we used to go out all the time. But then I hadn't done anything as an independent woman, not even paid a bill.
Oh, it's like...
It was all done for me. And then suddenly I was there, and I had to start paying bills. I just had to look after myself. I had to go out on my own.
Yeah. I was 19 when I was with Daniel till 45. I have not been an adult person, not in a relationship. So we were the same.
I was 22 to 53.
Oh, it's like it's a whole life. It's a whole life.
But I met new friends.
Yeah.
And I got lots of advice. And I started to build myself up. And and my friends were really good to me, that stuck with me. And new friends were great. I met the most fantastic guy, Michael, who's still my friend now. And he's very, come with me, darling. We went out clubbing all the time. You're 50. Yeah. And my daughter got very upset. She said, Mum, you've really got to start staying at home. I said, what do you want me to do?
So,
I wanted to go out.
Yeah. And you were exploding. Like you literally... Well, I've exploded into this new version of myself, and I was so shy or gaslit or whatever to be this version of myself, and it's quite delicious. Did you find that quite delicious?
Once I had found myself again,
Yeah.
I met an old boyfriend that I've gone out with when I was 21, Richard North Lewis, his name was. He sat me down and said, tell me everything. And so I told him everything. He said, I can't believe you lost yourself, Jo. And I went, Yeah, I did, I suppose, because it was all about Ronnie. You know, he was such a big person, and it was all about him. I was always looking after him, making sure he was fed, making sure he took his supplements.
Mummy,
I became mother.
you know what my mum said? Once you become a man's mother, no one wants to fuck their mother.
We still do.
All right.
Yeah,
And the power changes. Do it.
Yeah. I realise now, looking back, and you know, the worst thing that happened is Mick turned around to me and said, "I want you to be his PA on tour. Don't fuck up, Joe."
You were actually on the books as a
Yeah, working, yeah, and I was being paid.
sleeper. You're a sleeper.
Yeah, and so I think that was a real big mistake.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Can you relate to that, love you?
I can, yeah. I mean, I suppose I see it as we worked together, but it was definitely a role of domestic maintenance as well as
because you were running a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with my husband,
Yeah.
ex-husband.
Yeah.
And so we did it together. But I felt he needed quite a lot of looking after, and then all the children, and
So you already did the heavy lifting.
so that he could do his job.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the process of that, like you said, you lose yourself
Yeah.
and lose your identity. It just becomes wrapped up in that person.
When I first met you, Buffy, I remember saying to myself, Buffy is the ultimate cool girl, but she doesn't realize it. But I think you didn't realize that because you were in the shadow of someone who was presenting as cool, but
I did just tell you that I'm a real fan of the Archers, and she didn't look like
I think it's so, you know what? I think it's cool when you can dance to the beat of your own drum and don't give a shit what people think.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is.
That's real confidence.
Yes, not to care.
You know, that's something that initially your confidence gets so knocked, and then you slowly build
Yeah.
up, and like hearing your story of how when you went to the party and
Yeah.
to tell that story where the taxi driver's like,
I mean, I hadn't done anything on my own at all. So I had to do this eco Christmas tree for Save the Children.
Oh.
And it was, they were all different people had done them, and they were going to be displayed at the Natural History Museum. So I asked Tilly to come with me, but she couldn't. And nobody could come with me.
Yeah.
So it was my first venture out. And also, Princess Anne was going to be there.
Oh, so it's a big,
So it was a big
it's a big deal. And you're by yourself.
I sat in the cab at the Natural History Museum, and I looked up, and everybody was walking in together.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't do it.
Oh.
I can't do it. And the cab driver said, "You're going to get out, love." I went, okay. And I got out, and I walked up the steps, and I walked in, and this guy came up. "Darling, yes, my name's Michael Evans. How lovely to meet you. Come and meet David Gandy. We're going to look after you." And that was it. He really, really looked after me. I don't know why. Maybe he could just see that I needed that. And we used to have such a laugh. We used to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning in Soho, bit drunk, having breakfast.
Do you feel you lived your 20s, your single 20s and your 50s?
Yeah,
That's what I
it was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
We are the good girls who went out and had very long-term relationships. And I feel I missed out on my 20s, my 30s, my 40s. I missed out on all of that. And I'm having to start again. And it's so funny, like our daughters are teenagers, and they'll say things like, "Oh, a boy just snapped me on Snapchat." And I'm like, well, someone just snapped me on the radio. That's exactly the same of a teenager not knowing what the hell is going on. Did you feel you had to relearn how to be a single person?
Yeah, absolutely.
And was it terrifying?
No, because I had Michael.
Yeah.
I remember being at home and being out the night before and getting home like 5 in the morning. And then Michael sleeping, and Michael ringing up and saying, "Okay, we're going to meet at so-and-so." And I said, "Michael, I can't do it." He said, "Yes, you can. Yes, you can." "All right, I'll be there." And then off I'd go again.
You need a Michael. I need a Michael. It's a wing person, isn't it? It's someone who can go to get you out of your comfort zone.
Completely unthreatening. Yeah, he sounds the dream. Let's get Michael on.
Michael used to come on how to be a good wig person with someone goes to
Great. We had such a fun time. And because being gay, he always was surrounded by handsome young guys. And they would I would go to Mahiki and they would sit me in the big chair of this nightclub surrounded by young guys.
I mean, and what was dating like? Can we talk? Are you happy to talk about dating?
Yeah.
Was it weird? Because like I'm trying to go feral, Joe, but I'm still on one hand. But like,
Yeah, I mean, how's it changed?
literally,
It's changed a lot since I was like 20. I didn't have much dating before because I married my first husband when I was 18 in Vegas. And then I left him at 20.
you were a baby.
I know. He was 12 years older than me as well.
Yeah,
My parents were very upset.
because he was older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got a great son out of him. So then I had a year and my best mate Sue and me were just out and about in London. And there's
As a single mom.
yeah, my mum looked after Jamie, and I would go down on a Friday, and because he was horrible to me, he wouldn't give me money. He was very upset with me.
Yeah, how dare you leave? Yeah.
And so then I was with Ronnie from 22 to 53, and so I hadn't really dated a lot.
This is the thing. People assume you're with a Rolling Stone and you must be swinging from the chandeliers. But that's not who you are, is it?
No, to go out and dating, it was really weird at first. It was really weird. It was hard to get, oh my God, this guy's going to give me my first snog. 20 years. Oh my God, it was terrifying.
Like his first snog, were you terrified?
Yes.
Was it terrifying?
Yes, it was terrifying.
Oh my God, but exciting.
Yeah, it was great.
Could you say, do you remember who it was? Who was it?
Yeah, I know exactly.
I was it someone that you knew or you met from a dating site? Or...
No, I met him at dinner party.
Yeah.
Did you snog him that night?
No.
So there was a bit of like grown-up dating involved.
Yeah, so we went out to some function a couple of days later, and then I knew what was coming.
God, yeah, it's nerve-wracking, and because obviously the ending of marriages, so many things can happen, and if there's infidelity, your confidence is lost. You feel like, oh, and
He helped get my confidence back because suddenly I felt like I was desirable again.
yeah.
Because when your husband has run off with a 19-year-old, how can you compete with that?
You were 53.
She was 19.
19. It's like daughter of the younger daughter.
And also, it's so cruel, like the way you found out and the public, and I mean,
How did you deal with that? Because there's a sliding scale. It's the bitches in the post office talking about your marriage in the village to the Daily Mail. Like, in terms of publicity and shade. How did you deal with that?
I absolutely hated it. I stopped looking at the papers because in 2008 we weren't all on our phones like we are.
Yeah, it's probably a blessing. It could have been even worse with social media viral. But the papers were nasty back then, weren't they?
Yeah. They were at the front gate. Me and my daughter. I said, "Come on, Leah. I want you to go down and see my sister in Hastings." And so we got in my car and we zoomed through the gates. The gates opened. We zoomed through. And then there were the motorbikes behind us.
Proper paparazzi.
Yeah.
You weren't that Rolling Stone wife who wanted court publicity. You weren't that person.
No. Didn't work there. But then what really helped my confidence was I was offered Strictly Come Dancing.
Tell me what it did for you, because I saw you just blossom. I watched it because I'm a Strictly fan in more years, and I just saw you exploding into a different person.
Yeah, it was great. That's the best thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah.
Because it made me an individual and not just Ronnie's ex-wife.
Is that how you were introduced for years? Or do you think your identity was Ronnie Wood's wife?
Yeah, well, I didn't work. I didn't do anything, did I? I brought up the children.
Yeah.
But that changed everything.
You were Joe.
And I remember going to the petrol station, filling up my car, and somebody opened the window. "Hey, you go to have on Saturday night, Joe?" Oh, thank you so much.
I think you're a national treasure. People saw you.
And got to know you in this new stage of your life, which is so exciting that you.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, so literally strictly changed your life, strictly changing lives. We know it.
She did. It was wonderful.
What? Okay, not everyone can do strictly. I hope I do. But like, what do you think people can do to turn it around for themselves?
I think one of the most important things to do is have forgiveness.
Oh, Joe.
Because once you
For them, for yourself, or for you?
I met somebody, well, I went to see a talk, and in the talk, the guy said, forgiveness is the greatest thing you can do for yourself because you set yourself free and you break the ties with the person. You don't have to be nice to that person.
Yeah.
You forgive them.
It's about
What
you.
they're doing. You know, this is a life that we all got lessons in life, and maybe that was my lesson, and it was my way into independence and learning and finding out about myself and looking after myself.
Yeah.
And the other thing, getting closer to my children than ever before. Because my kid, when I was with Ronnie, it was always about Ronnie. Has he got everything? Is this all right? Is dinner's ready?
He was the center.
He was the center. And so then when I became single, I had more time for them.
Yeah.
And yourself.
And myself and my grandkids.
It's so interesting. I definitely think my relationship with my girls has changed because I definitely think we're closer. My ex-husband was that fun, zany, amazing, fun dad, and it was like mummy carrying the bags and grumpy mummy. Like my friend said, they'd never seen like cool fun Ateh because she was just sad, or she was too fun, or overwhelmed, or overworked, and so they get to see me in a different light. And I do think our relationships definitely changed. It's so interesting. You change, and then everything around you changes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's really.
They get the best of you, don't they?
Yeah, my kids have had the best of me for the last 12 years.
That's so interesting.
And your grandchildren. I'm so excited. I mean, our children are teenagers. So
I am excited to be a grandma.
I'm so excited. And I think, like,
Yeah.
in fact, one of the questions I was going to ask is I always felt that family was the mum and the dad, you know, were the two parents. A nuclear family, there's the pairing, and then they hold everything together, and then if that pair becomes one, then family, the whole concept of family changes, and it's not the same, and it's different, and it's not as good. And actually what you've shown, and what through talking to you and looking at your Instagram and all of that, is that actually that is not the case.
No.
And that the love and the bond and the whole dynamic of a family is created around you. And
being, you know, also the very important thing is not to be a victim. That is so important because it's so easy to be a victim.
yeah,
And you can't be a victim.
I think that's such a powerful thing, Joe, because you feel like, I think a lot of my anger has come from, God, I feel I got had, or the rug was pulled from under me. I thought I was in a different situation. Like, I think of it like the Matrix. I was in a construct, and I took the pill and came out of the construct. And that's how I felt. And I felt really conned in a funny way. And I think a lot of people feel like they got. How do you not make that how do you let go of that resentment and not feel like you were a victim of something? How do you do that?
Oh, I never want to be a victim.
Yeah, because you give away your power.
Yeah, I don't want to be a victim at all. And I did feel a bit like a victim at first.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
And then I thought to myself, he's having a really happy time. So then I pulled myself together, and it was all little things like when I went to the museum, when I did Strictly, that all pulled me out of that.
You made the decision though.
Yeah. Because I mean, I had a choice if I could do Strictly or not.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a yes or no, and you said yes today.
Yeah, and I said, Mum, I don't know if I was I've talked to my mum lots.
Yeah.
Mum, I don't know if I could do this. She said, Josephine, there's nothing more that I would like is to see you on Strictly. So I'm going to do it.
Do it for your mama.
I think it's important to be able to be the victim, but, well, for myself, but with a very few select
group of people. You have to talk about it as well.
Yeah. Did you have a group of people you felt were safe spaces?
My mum.
Completely, yeah.
My mum just heard everything. She was great.
You need a circle of trust, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my kids were actually quite good. But if I went on just that little bit much, they got, oh, come on,
Yeah. Enough now.
And it was some balance because you have to be mummy and you have to get support. Like, I've had so many different advice, like, don't tell the children anything. Tell the children. It's like, what is your point? Like, I'm like, if your life is falling apart, I can't really hide it. And I'm not going to also take the blame.
Yeah, but they don't need to have too much.
It's not the nasty deep. Yeah.
They obviously are going to expect to see you upset.
Yeah. And be vulnerable. Yeah. I cried for the first time in front of my daughter because I'm not a crier. I'm like, you know what? I didn't cry. I used to eat. That was the thing. So I would just numb myself. And I remember just bursting into tears. And my daughter, Donna, was like, oh, you really are upset about this divorce? Because she just assumed that I was just okay with And she saw me sort of heartbroken. And there's something softened in her. And I thought maybe it wasn't bad to show her my...
Yeah, no. They need to see that too.
Yeah.
Because they need to be able to
Come out of it.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Mummy, get better.
Yeah. I mean, it's been so sweet. I've been in Paris at Lady Gaga beauty launch with my lovely friend Irene, who's a bit of a Michael. Shout out to you, Irene. She called me, and she's I've been friends with her for 20 years. She's a beauty PR, and she's 100% that bitch. She moved to Jamaica just because. So she runs her beauty empire from Jamaica. And
Nice.
and she called me, went, I need to give you a hug. Do you want to come to Paris and come to a beauty launch? And it's amazing. And I was like, yes. We had the best time. And my daughter said, Mummy, we saw you on Instagram and you just look so happy and you were just looking.
Yeah,
And
see how
that goes down. And I like it. And they watch you, don't they?
they watch every little thing.
they want
you to see me.
yeah, that's something that's really
When you're feeling good and they can see it and got stressed out about dad and they will be happier people.
Literally.
Yeah.
I came back twirling and happy and I've had such a lovely week. And the girls, they have been so sweet and so, because you know that it's the teenage sister twin fighting. It's been like, this week they've just been so lovely and chill. And I think it's the more chill
Because you're putting out that vibe, that energy that's really good. And if you can put out that energy, then everybody feels it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So being happy as an empath caregiver is the best thing you can do for your family, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Which is like, so what was the point that you decided to get divorced? What is the trigger? Because everyone has a trigger, everyone has a breaking point. What was the point where you're like, I'm done, I'm out?
There wasn't a question of not getting a divorce.
Yeah.
His lawyer, you see, his lawyers were straight on it. It was out of my hands.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't want to not divorce him because he'd humiliated me.
Yeah.
So the lawyers came steaming in, and then his lawyers then said I had to have this lawyer that they recommended.
Excuse me? They were telling you what lawyer you should have.
Yeah, and then my friend Harold said to me,
Go on, Harold.
Jo, I'll find you a proper lawyer.
And because you were so used to being like, okay, they thought you just take a lawyer. That doesn't even sound legal.
That sounds legal. So Harold found me this female lawyer, but it was such a long, drawn-out process.
Oh, it's painful.
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And in the end, I agreed to whatever they wanted.
That's very interesting.
Well, that's a tactic, isn't it? Just wear you down.
Because Ronnie was my partner in JoWood Organics.
Oh, your business.
Yeah. He wasn't, he was just the financial things. They made me put it into liquidation.
Oh, Jo.
The best thing that my son had done, it was, the name of the company wasn't JoWood Organics.
Yeah.
It was the organic beauty company.
Yeah.
Something like
Which
that.
is clever.
Yeah.
So you don't sell your name.
So I didn't get rid of my name. So I went and bought back my stock and I sold my stock and then I relaunched with body oil and fragrance.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I did things like MasterChef. I went on the island. So I was doing so many other things. and I got really busy. So I put JoWood Organics aside, and then I relaunched in 2018.
Yeah.
And now it's thriving and everyone loves it.
Yeah.
It's good.
And it's just a good reminder of who you are and all the passions. And I love your podcast as well about aliens. Like, my mum said, make your hobby your job and you never feel like you're working. So what did you do? One of your passions is aliens.
Yeah, my friend Mike said to me, Jo, I'm doing a podcast, Pod People or something it's called. He said, if you come up with a good subject, we'll do a podcast. And I just looked at him and I said, aliens? He said, yeah, let's do it. Actually, he keeps driving me mad to do the next series. You must do that.
Road trip to Nirvana, we'll be with you, mate. We'll turn up, we'll have a party. So you've just had a blast being you.
Yeah.
And having a good time.
And learning how to look after myself.
I think that's a huge thing, can I just say? Learning how to look after yourself literally needs to be on a t-shirt, because I never knew how to do that.
I didn't know how to do it all. I got an accountant and I said, I don't do all this stuff.
Yeah.
He said, it's time for you to learn, Jo. I said, oh, I've got to pay bills.
Literally.
Yes.
I have to say, I just got diagnosed with ADHD, and one of my favorite things to do is diagnose everyone else with ADHD. But I think a lot of women who have ADHD or they're dyslexic or they're on the spectrum, I think it gets weaponized against them. And so I was like, oh, that's the boring stuff, and let my husband take care of that. And I think a lot of women get trapped into the not having your eye on the ball.
Well, he didn't even take care of it. He had somebody else take care of it. Everything was taken care of.
Yeah.
I'd walk into the office, say, Jen, book us a table for tonight and a car.
And then
it was just like that.
Yeah.
It was so easy.
And there is power in being able to look after yourself.
Yeah, it's great.
So it is, so you literally empowered yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to just learn it.
And that's not being a victim, you see.
But I think also maybe not in your case, Jo, but certainly in your case, you're sharing the load.
Yeah.
And so now you're not sharing that load.
Yeah.
It's all 100% on you. So you need to pick stuff up, get your shit together, and get it done.
Life goes so fast that you've got to make the most of it when you can. And now look at you. You're both beautiful. You've got so much fun ahead.
I know.
Well, yeah, that's the way we're thinking.
Yeah.
Because they're still in it. But yeah, quick fire
questions in the last 10 minutes. First one, what would you do differently knowing what you know now with regards to divorcing?
What would I do differently? I might have stuck into I might have taken my divorce to court. I would have fought instead of accepting what they wanted me, and I would have fought for my company, and I would have done it like that. I was afraid.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is scary shit.
Yeah, it's grown up, it's scary.
I wouldn't have been afraid.
Yeah.
If it was now.
That's really interesting advice, because that's where I'm at. What 3 or less practical or emotional tips would you give to somebody going through a divorce?
Take care of your health.
Really important. And you were obviously brilliant at that.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Difficult, but yes.
Yeah.
Courage.
Yeah, have courage. And don't be a victim.
Yeah. Which means take action.
Yeah.
I think so many of us bury our heads and just wait for it to pass. You can't do that with a divorce, can you?
I think it's scary having conviction in your own decisions. That's what I'm feeling, certainly, is what am I making the right decision in fighting or sending this email or talking about this? Is that
have you learned to trust yourself?
Yeah.
When you
probably
just have chipped away.
And also, your friends are very important, so you can talk to them and ask, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah. Reality check in your friend, people you trust.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you were given?
Forgiveness.
I love that.
Forgiveness.
Hold on to it. What was the worst?
The worst. To accept what they offered.
Yeah. Take it lying down.
Yeah, just take it. Just take it. Don't
Just walk away.
don't kick off. Don't
Yeah.
Don't forget that he had powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't worry now. I wouldn't give a damn now. I would say, you're not taking my business from me. You're not going to, I would have been more like that.
Okay.
And also finances. Was it like there's so much money on that side? Was that also something scary when you've got someone who's got so much power and money?
Yeah. And they offered me this, and it was like, come on, Joe, just let's get this divorce over and done with. I can't do this anymore. And so you back out.
Do you think as a woman that's also a kind of societal place that we find ourselves that men are still saying? I mean, in one of our first episodes, we talked about how both of us have got female lawyers, and you said earlier you had a female lawyer.
Yeah.
And interestingly, our ex-husbands have all had quite aggressive male lawyers. Is that there is this, come on, we're going to exercise our
good girl.
get some.
It's actually that.
Just get inside the
Just
face.
sign this. Yeah. I think his lawyers were very powerful. Still. But he didn't have anything to do with them. I didn't speak to him once.
The lawyers just
They just did it. And I would say, God, I say to Leah, gosh, if only I could speak to your dad.
Yeah. You
Just
get
talk to him.
the person that
It
you love.
wasn't a different thing by then. He got the 19-year-old. He was, it was just different.
And it's hurtful to feel like a problem to be gotten rid of by.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to be cool. I didn't want to be a pain in the neck as well.
You didn't want to be the crying sad.
Yeah, but now you just show straight. But, it took a while to build that up. But anyway, yeah.
It's fascinating.
What's the number one thing you've learned about yourself since coming through a divorce? I bet you're a brilliant dancer.
I learned about myself that I am independent and I can look after myself, no problem at all now.
That's so nice to know. Yeah, that you are okay. You are more than okay. You're flourishing.
Yeah.
Thriving.
Final divorce party, yes or no?
No, I didn't do a divorce party. I should have done.
I've decided it's going to be.
Maybe I have a really late one.
Have a lame one. I've decided it's going to be Soho Farmhouse and it's going to be a rager. I've decided it. Everyone's coming. You're all invited.
There.
Yeah, I think why not have a little, not little, well, a big one. But I think it's not even about, if you can have a wedding, you can have a divorce party.
I should have done that, shouldn't I?
It's never too late,
It would have been great. But instead, I went and bought myself, when I got my divorce, I went and bought myself a little apartment in Miami.
No, that's better.
It was just a little one-bedroom apartment.
Do you still have it?
No, I went and sold it because I started going over there less and less and less. And, and then instead of that, I went and bought a little house in Spain. So I sold that and bought my little house in Spain, which is easier to get to.
And
But I still don't get there as much as I should.
And with grandkids, it's lovely to have a place that you can run to the far.
And I could just go over there and just have my handbag. Everything's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we ask the advice about finances? What number one tip would you say in terms of finances, getting what you should have? Is there anything you wish you would knew, or that you would do different to ask for what you want? Or is there any tricks or tips? Because
I should have taken it to court because I'm sure I would have got a better deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't be frightened to go to court.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think people are so frightened of court because they're like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It would be public. Da 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 da. Is that what?
But you see, they didn't want me to go to court because the Stones don't like anybody going to court.
For PR publicity and all
Don't like that, do they?
which is
Well, it doesn't look good. Let's face it.
Yeah.
why you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
You don't know how to fear.
yeah. But you know what? Live it, learn it, and you are a beautiful example of what a flash forward post divorce, happy, thriving, successful woman.
That's the most important thing. I am happy.
Yeah,
I am a happy person.
yeah.
And whereas
Happier.
where I wasn't before.
And you don't even realize it, do you? Until you're on the other side.
And then once it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. It was great.
We're feeling teary. We're still in the trenches, Jo. This is why we're we're marching through the trenches, and we're doing this for all the people who are deciding to go in it and post, because it's so beautiful, because it is something that there's so much shame. People don't talk about it. Do you know what I mean? People don't talk about it.
Well, funnily enough, quite a few people now want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're thrilled that, Jo, you wanted to be the second person on our podcast. I'm going to immediately go and call the lawyers.
All right, JoWood, you are fabulous. Thank you so much. And we will see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.